Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I got good news. As usual, I didn't clean up before I made a video. Not that anybody really cares. I care. I like to have a clean setup, but then something cool happens and then I want to make a video. So, if you've been following along, I started a wing build. This is, I did a wing build quite a ways back and I only got one flight on it because of weather and other projects and stuff, but I built this. Shit, I think it's HGLRC, a tiny wing 450X. I built this little guy and got one flight out there. Needs a little bit of tuning, but all manual. Other than the fancy the Panda VTX and some LEDs that were already on there that I customized so that they would work with this Panda. Tiny little light flyer that you can pretty much fly anywhere. Anyway. Not scary in the sense that it's small, and if it hits anything, you know, nothing big deal. So I was given this big monster, and it's sat for months upstairs in the porch, in the back room of the basement here, and then in my office. And I'm like, you know what? I'd really love to build something that I'm confident with, as in video transmission and transmitter, where never a real chance of fail-safing, that I can have HD in. And I wanted to go, let me see if this is cool now. I have this little setup here. I got this fan thingy that we used for Doodle's cage in the summertime, so it pumped cooler air in, that he absolutely loved. Rest his soul. He is no longer with us. Anyway, make sure that's cooled down. Yeah, so I use that to rest up against and cool the air unit on this thing. So we have, I can move some stuff around because my desk was designed for quads and drones, not big ass wings. So it already had this kind of gaff tape on it, and as insanely OCD and cosmetic of a person I am, I opted to leave it because of its strength and it's helping hold this. I got camera in the nose, and I'm going to make some bumpers because that's the first thing that would hit something. So I'm going to come up with some bumpers. Air unit is here. It is velcroed down with the soft velcro, not the typical stuff I use, and then has a strap so I can get to the SD card. If I needed to bind, there's a hidden hole in the side. Something new I found out while doing this. I have the Avata. The Avata is what started this. In the goggles, you have to switch from Avata to O3 air unit, restart it, and then you would have to bind, if you didn't bind, to whatever you were using. Once this is good to go, and this is already good to go on an air unit, you can switch back and forth. So I turn this on, and it automatically found this, and it automatically found that. And then if I turn the wing off, and I grab flow, my Flylands 85, and just turn this guy on, it will automatically find it and automatically binds to it. So it makes it a little bit easier when you're out in the field and farting around, and when you have old eyes like me, trying to get in there and find that tiny little dinky button is a major pain in the ass, and got to bring glasses and stuff like that. But anyway, so what I wanted to do with this is, again, make it HD and confident. Not that I'm ever going to fly at any real distance, but just one of the fields we fly is huge, and go over the treetops and not worry about failing. Inside, I made a cool little hole here. I'll show you why in a sec. So I'm using the SpeedyBee F405 wing flight controller. So if I want to flip it into a stabilized mode and just cruise around and get certain shots, and I'm hoping that there's not a lot of vibration so that this thing looks fantastic. But I have the port set up back here. It's wired to the flight controller. It's kind of a neat setup, but like everybody else, I wish the wires were longer. And the beeper's on there. So low voltage or something happens, or if I have to find it, it's all right here. And I got the hole here, so sound will travel out much easier, so I should hopefully hear the beeper. No way to hide certain wires. I consider this neat. Here is the main plug. It'll go forward. It will go forward, and I have a little bit of room to adjust the battery if I ever change the battery. This is what I'm using right now For CG, I got to figure out the exact, do I want it, I've never really built these, so I'm assuming I still needed a little bit of nose heavy and not be perfectly balanced. Where's that little button? There's a little hole, a little depression, a little bump out on the bottom that you put both fingers on to show CG. And the way I've got it set up, or where I found was perfect, balanced it perfectly, but again, I think I needed a little more nose heavy because these things can be twitchy. Velcro down, extra strap, ESC, room for wires, and then just a couple tucked back there. That's all under a cowl, you're not going to see it. And this long wire is coming from the air unit. It's got a little groove in here, which is cool, and this can be tucked out of the way, which won't be bothersome at all. And then tuck that back down. I gotta get the other piece out of the room. So there's a fancy toothpick. I wish I had a little carbon fiber spur that goes through in here. Also, it's got magnets, also helps hold it down. And I've got 2 little holes on each side that just run into this that will also help hold this down, just in case air, for whatever reason, wants to lift this up or in a bad crash, which is so far so good. The original issue was that the planes weren't moving based on my input, and effin Chet and I went through this thing pretty meticulous yesterday and was going on iNav. I reversed one of the servos, then magically, it was just something simple that we missed. Then both move the way that we want. I still have to, I think, do the auto tune when flying to get everything moving the way it is. I changed, this thing's a little bit different. And again, a traditional remote, a little bit easier, but I'm using this. So I have my modes, so angle mode, acro, and then manual. And it's funny because I did it that way because M mode, because for the Avata, you still have limited throw on your planes when you're in this, and even acro. Acro is not completely unassisted. It's very, very minimal, and you can still do flips and rolls, but it's still there. But if you were lifting up on pitch, for example, and it only goes up a little bit, when you flip it in manual, it moves even more. So you got a lot more throw. So if the tune was bad the way I was explained, or something wasn't right and it wasn't flying right and you needed to bring it down, you can throw it into manual mode, which is completely unassisted, full access to everything, no flight controller parameters, the PIFF. So none of that is assisting it, so it's full U, which will be cool. I like the idea. I just got to get together with one of my buddies to make sure that I'm getting proper movement. They're moving the way that they should, that these are tight enough. I feel like there should be a little less play in this, so I may mess around a little bit with these. I do have extra ESCs if I need to swap them. And that's it. I added 2 programmable LEDs that plug right into the board. I added some green just for haha, so hopefully it'll be easier to see depending on where it goes down or in the air. And that's it. So it's ready for its maiden. I look forward to it. I'm going to be super scared. I had an option, and if anybody's watching this, that flies wings. I think that's a 6-inch prop. That was on my Nano Talon. I got a couple of them for over there. Got a couple of them from that airplane. But I also have some tri-props and other things. What people recommend, is it more efficient to run that, or will that do suffice? One of the silly little pros that automatically caught my eye is I can put it on the table right now, and this isn't hitting anything. As soon as I put a tri-prop on it, it won't. But as in speed or thrust, or obviously that's smaller, but you get another blade. What do you guys think? What do you recommend? What would be better? So far, I'm going to try this. So far, I haven't done anything yet. First attempt, I'm going to fly that because I have a bunch of those somewhere. Yeah. Drawers full of shit everywhere. So I got some black, clear, and blue. So we'll see. But it is ready. It is flyable. I'm excited. I only pulled out half my head of hair trying to figure this thing out, but it's done. Big shout to Chet for his patience and helped me out yesterday. So you should see, depending on weather next weekend, I'm going to try to maiden this and get some footage, even if it's crash and burn. but it was a fun experience, and I look forward to I don't know, we'll see where this leads. Be exciting. So